you join us at the start of Season 2 of Offwatch. We've already had 34 incredible stories from those people at the heart of the race, and we're going to be looking ahead to hearing more tales from those people who matter. And we're going to start off with something pretty special. Kevin Escoffier, a member of Dongfeng Race team in the last 2 editions and a winner of the ocean race, turned his hand to solo sailing and has got an incredible adventure to retell from this edition of the Vendée Globe. If you enjoy this interview, you can leave us a like and subscribe for many more. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget that all our interviews are now available in audio form as a podcast. Just search on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you find your podcasts, and you can enjoy great stories like this one. The last edition of the Ocean Race was memorable for many reasons, but the finish, with 3 teams all vying for overall victory, was something special. Kevin Escoffier was part of Dongfeng Race team, and they managed in the final miles to edge out and take the trophy in a spectacular finish. After claiming victory in a race around the world for teams, Kevin then turned his attention to doing the same, but this time solo. So in 2018, he took control of PRB, a 10-year-old vessel, but with 2 years to transfer his skills into solo sailing. But with some strong results, a second in the Transat Jacques Vabre and a second in the Rolex Fastnet, he entered the 2020 Vendée Globe with high hopes and for good reasons. Kevin, thank you very much for talking to us today. There is so much that obviously I can't wait to ask you about, from the technology of the IMOCAs and of course your experience in the last Vendée Globe. But before I do that, can I just say that on behalf of everybody, it is fantastic to see you safe and well.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm happy to be back on land, and happy to be working for the future, and to be back on the water as soon as possible, and to have a new PRB boat for the future as well.
Now, let me ask you about that in just a moment. But first of all, can I just put you back to The Hague and the finish in 2018 for Dongfeng Race team and for yourself? This was the 2nd edition, so this is 6 years, maybe 8 years of hard work, 2 of them spent on the water racing. When you finish an event like that and when you win, what are the thoughts going through your mind?
It's pretty difficult because what I can tell is all the time when I come back on land after a race, I'm always splitted between being sad of leaving the sea and leaving the race, because I definitely love being at sea. I love being racing against other boats, and always I'm a bit hesitating between being happy to be back on land and to finish the race, and being sad of not being racing anymore. But definitely this time, the one you're talking about, when we've discovered, I should say, because we definitely, since underwater, we hadn't any news from other boats, since the ranking were only every 4 hours, I think. We've discovered that we will win the Volvo. We will win the Volvo. Sorry, when we've seen the helicopter coming for us, and if the helicopter is coming for us, I think we should be first. And then the helicopter, when he left us, instead of going forward, he went 90 degrees of the boat. And this time we were quite sure that we were winning the Volvo. And yeah, this time, it's not very often, but this time I was very happy to come back on land.
And I mean, it was an incredible emotional journey, I'm sure. How quickly then, like you say, you miss being on the water. How quickly did you think, right, what's next? What can I do next?
Not sure, because I went back working for a multi-hull, a flying one, for Banque Populaire, and I've always been working. I took only one month of holidays with family, because, as you said, it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of energy from your family on shore. kids, obviously, but young kids are always happy to go around the world. My wife that has a company and that has been following me around the world with the 1.5-year-old daughter. It was pretty difficult for her, and I think it was more holidays for her than for me. And I've been directly. I don't like to be not doing anything. I prefer to work than being in holidays. So as soon as after 1 month after the Volvo, I've been back on the water on a 32 meters long multi-hull. But I think I was missing something, and that's the moment I've been really looking forward to go for single-handed. Since in France, Volvo is not that. It's not like New Zealand, like US or England, where the Volvo it's a massive event. In France, obviously, Volvo Ocean Race is a massive event, but not compared to Vendée Globe. Vendée Globe in France, that is the biggest thing when you're sailing. And I was wondering, what should I do? What should I do? I definitely love being competing full crew, because you're able to push a boat at 100%. And I'm a mechanical engineer, and obviously I like to push things at the max they are able to do. But I would have regrets if I haven't done any single-handed races. And when I was looking forward to do that, Vincent Rioux called me, and it was in November 2018, and he called me and he told me, yes, I want to stop. I want to stop with PRB. Do you want to get the project back to you and to do single-handed? I took 5 minutes, maybe two, and I said yes. And 1 week after, he called me back and told me, okay, it's done. I've been discussing with the boss of PRB, and you'll be the next skipper. So I think I'm very lucky. I've got, in French, we say a nice star above me. I've got a star above me, that helped me going forward. And just after the Volvo, I was looking forward to do that. And someone just offered me something just great to go for the Vendée Globe 2020.
And I imagine something like PRB as well. It's a unique partnership. I think a lot of people who are not professional athletes assume that it's always done with a sailor has an idea, has a dream. I want to do this challenge. Now I must go and find a sponsor. But of course, PRB is a race team that exists. It's more than just the sailor at its heart. It must be a very different relationship. And of course, for you, PRB has been in the Vendée since 92. You would have been 12 years old.
Since the first Vendée.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, were you aware of this team that now you're the skipper?
I mean, obviously, and it's not only PRB. It's PRB. It's part of the French sailing history. Like the Vendée Globe is, and PRB is part of they've been on all editions of the Vendée Globe, and they've with famous names like Isabelle Autissier, one of the first women to compete in single-handed races, the first woman to finish around the world single-handed race. Michel Desjoyaux have been competing with Mafre on the 2014 Volvo, and also on the Whitbread before that. Vincent Rioux. When you look at these names, for me it was just a dream.
Let me talk to you then about the technology then for the Imoka 60s. This is going to be a boat that we are going to see a lot in the Ocean Race and the next edition and future editions as well. There's been a lot of talk about how different the IMOCA is from the 65. So it wasn't very long after stepping off Dongfeng Race team, VO65, onto the IMOCA. I mean, from my understanding, just the way that the boat sails through the water is very different indeed. What was your impression? No,
you're right saying that. You're very right. But it's still a boat. it's still a boat, and no, it's definitely the truth. I've been sailing on multi-hulls. I've been doing around the world on a 40 meters multi-hulls. I've been doing transatlantic on 18 multi-hulls on 18 meters, on 15 meters but it's still sailing, you know. When you look at a sail, depending on the wind, you have to trim the sails, you have to go fast, you've got the same people around you, so it's fighting on the water. But definitely it's not as comfortable today. If I had to choose or not to choose a boat for the comfort on the boat, it would be the IMOCA. IMOCA, when you've got a multi-hull, it's pretty fast, but it's narrow hulls. So when you go through a wave, it's okay. And sometimes, since you're flying quite high on the water, you don't hit the little waves. And when you are on the monohull, since the hull is pretty wide and flat, you hit the water pretty badly, and you're still very fast. We now with the foils, we are sailing when you go for a cold front, for example. Before that, we are going not fully upwind, not VMG upwind. I don't know if it's too technical, but we're not going VMG upwind, but 55, 60 degrees to an angle. Now with the foils, we are so fast going down that we go with the monohull at 70, 75, even 80 degrees to an angle, sometimes at 20, 23, 24 knots. So when you've got 4 or 5 meters of sea, you still go at 23 knots. And it's just amazing how you jump and everything, but it's pretty uncomfortable. And you have to grab on. For example, when I stack inside the boat, I've got a helmet.
Right.
Yes, but again, when you go single-handed, the hardest physical thing I've done for sailing was the Volvo, because it's 30 days, 100%, stacking, peeling, but single-handed, it's more in the head. When you do that, if you don't want to slow down, when you're jumping alone, on the water like that, it's more in the head than for the even if you need to be quite well not to break something if you don't want to break a rib, but it's more in the head than for the body.
What about the waves? I mean, you mentioned that you're riding above them. You have a different way of sort of sailing with them. The reason that I'm interested in this is that I spoke to 1K for the last season of this Off-Watch for the interviews, and he was saying that something that surprised him was the angle of the boat on the foils to the waves was critical. And if the waves were coming at slightly different angle, the weight and the ballast had to be completely different. Do you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. And we don't compare to a multi-hull where the heel is pretty stable. On a monohull, you change the heel all the time. I mean, for example, if you jump a wave, the foil get out of the water, you don't have righting moment anymore. The boat just heel much more. Then you don't have the same angle on the foil, and it's not working anymore. So, and that's also why, if you've been following the Vendée Globe closely, we've seen that the foiler downwind were not that fast. Yeah. Hugo Boss, Alex Thompson have been saying before the start that he designed a boat around VMG downwind. Sadly, we haven't seen if the C-shaped foil and the hull he had done with VPLP was a good one. But what is sure is that we haven't found the right foils for downwind VMG. After that, upwind reaching, we can see that a foiler is just amazing. Sometimes it's 4 knots faster than a boat. Without foils. Even on PRB, it was 2018 foils, and we can see that sometimes at PVR, Charal, they were 3 knots faster than me. So we are, each year we will gain 1 knot, 2 knots. It's just amazing. It's just the start of the foiling design for the monohulls.
So it sounds like for the next edition of the Ocean Race, where we're going to have the 65s and we're going to have the foiling IMOCAs, we've got, as fans, you've got the one design match boats, and then, like you say, there's so much development still to happen in the IMOCAs. So let me ask you then about the Vendée Globe and this last edition. Obviously, we've just seen the finish, but let's go to the 30th of November with you on board PRB, and you're doing well. This is your third place. I think you're 800 or so miles southwest of Cape Town.
Yes, a bit less. I think maybe 6.
But you're not close to land. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the last 24 hours beforehand, you had the best run of the whole fleet in 24 hours. You were performing really well. Can you tell us what was the conditions like at that moment, just before everything changed?
Just to explain why I was the fastest, for me it was quite easy. For me, I was not pushing on the boat, but I was maybe 5th before that, I think, and I wanted to be before to go in the south. I didn't want to have to push hard in the south. So for me, it was flat sea. It was quite nice the night before. So I've been pushing more than the other, but for me it was still okay. It was I was not 105% of the polar. It was something like 90, 95. So I was not pushing it that much. But in the idea for me, it was to get at Good Hope in the top 3, so that after that I would have been able to decide where I wanted to put how to push the boat in the south. So that's why I've been pushing a bit, but not that much. And it was we knew that the sea state and the wind was increasing. When I broke, I was 28, 30 knots of wind with 5 meters sea state. Quite not a good sea state. It was 5 meters, but with 9 second periods or something that is short, what we call a short sea state.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same word in English, but in French we say short sea state. The waves were quite close from each other. And I just furled my Genneker I had, and maybe I think that's why I was faster than the others on the previous 24 hours. And I furled it, and I was G2 on 2 reefs in the main, and I was inside, and I had an alarm on the wind, and the wind was increasing, so the alarm I think was like 31 or 32 knots of wind. And the alarm woke me up, so I went on the deck, but no rush. It was not a structure or dangerous alarm. It was just an alarm to go and have to trim the sails on the deck.
And this is an alarm that you set. You decide, okay, wake me up if the wind increases or swings. Yeah. So it's not necessarily a dangerous alarm. It might be tactical.
No. I've got alarms on the foils or on the rig that are let's say structural, so dangerous alarms as you said. But this one I can set them up as I want on the computer, on the software. I can put the true wind direction, the true wind angle, the heading, whatever I want. I can put it, and it was not just for a performance alarm. To know when I have to trim the boat. So I went outside, and I was starting to trim the boat, and then I've seen big wave, and the boat start to surf the wave. So that's a foiler. So there is 30 knots. So when you surf a wave, it's 27, 28, 29, 30 knots, and I see the boat going inside the wave, but it's 30 knots. It's not on a monohull. You do 30 knots. I've done that plenty of times. So I was on the deck, pretty cool, and I feel the boat quite. How do you say? How could I say that in English? But soft. Yeah, let's say soft. I feel the boat soft. So I just look up, because usually when you feel the boat soft like that, it's more the mast. And I just look up to see the mast, maybe a runner that breaks, because when you go inside the waves, you've got a deceleration that is quite and it's not the mast. So I look forward and I can see the hull, folding at 90 degrees. And for me, it's just a dream. For me, it's say no, it's not possible. It's not possible. So I put the head in the hatch, and I check inside, and I see the water going inside the boat. So that was the start of 12 hours that were not pretty good.
And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to wrap my brains as to anybody else that I've ever heard of where a boat has folded in half. I mean, like you say, how quickly, when that happened and you see the water, how quickly did your reactions kick in and you went, okay, this is serious, I have to do something? How fast did you manage to get control?
It's maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. No, I've been very quick. As soon as I've seen the water going inside the boat, I knew what I've seen outside was real, and I knew the boat. As soon as you've got the boat broken into, so the first thing, I jumped inside. I took my TPS, what we call TPS in France. It's a survival suit in neoprene, watertight one. So it's a mandatory survival suit. Every single skipper on the Vendée Globe must have on board. And me, I was not stacking it. It was stacked, but always on the same place. So it was, you've got plenty of bags with food, security stuff, everything, with the spares of everything. And the first bag, the last bag I was stacking, so the first bag forward of the stack windward, it was my safety equipment. So I took the TPS, I throw it outside, and then I took my phone, the phone of the boat, to send a text to my shore team to tell them that I was sinking, and it was not a joke. I'm able to do good jokes sometimes, but this one is not a good one. I do pretty bad jokes after. and then I went. And it's pretty hard to remember exactly the time it takes. So I don't like to give a time, because the brain, and each time you're telling the story, you may do a new story, and I don't want to do that. So the only thing I've got to imagine how quick it has been, it's to remember what I've done. So as soon as I've seen the water going inside the boat, I've been for the TPS, throwing it outside, sending the text. And when I get my phone back, when I went back on land, with the cloud system we've got all now, I've seen the text I sent from the boat on my new phone, and I sent the text at 3:46. At 3:47, my shore team is answering, and I never received the text. So 1 minute after I sent the text, the water was above the engine and the batteries system and shut down all the system. So, and then I've been outside. I put on my TPS, so my survival suit, and when I'm done with it, I've got the water above the hatch with everything from inside the boat starting to go out. So it has been quite, let's say 2 minutes to go inside and get the TPS, 2 minutes to send a text, it's a bit cold, and two minutes to put. So in 6 minutes, I had the boat with the water at 30 or 40 centimeters above the hatch.
Really quick, and it speaks volumes to how important all the training is and all the safety protocol, because like you say, everything was there. Your survival suit, you were moving it, but it was always in either this place or this place. That was it. I'm just curious as to, if you were moving your survival suit and you're moving your gear, did it ever cross your mind during the race, I might need this?
Yes. If yes, when you're a sailor, you know, I've been sailing. I'm even if I'm still young, I've been sailing for a couple of years, and you've got issue, you've got a mast, you've got a killer arm, you've got a hole in the hull, you've got, and we all know that even if it's not very often, you may have to go in the water at one point. So yes, so that's why I had a bag like that, and I think it's very important to do that. There is a few things to learn from that. And I think it's very important to be ready and to know very well what you've got on board, all the safety equipment, because as soon as you have to use the safety equipment, maybe you won't have the time to check if everything is good and how it works.
Yes. It's always that image, isn't it, of somebody needing to set off a flare and having to read how it works first. And you think, no, this it's not the right time.
It's by night, and no, even for the life raft, you know, maybe there is always how to use it. Where do you put the floating anchor? How many hours is working a personal safety beacon? So there is plenty to learn, and I've done things pretty well, I think, or I wouldn't be there, and there is still to learn as well. So that's it. But
well, let's talk about what happens next then, because I think certainly for fans of the ocean race, we've had some boats sink, we've had some boats strike land when they shouldn't have done, but it's very rare that boats or crews end up in the life raft. You have to leave your boat now because clearly it's sinking. You have to get into the life raft. You've managed to send this text to your team. Obviously, you have an EPIRB. You've got I am guessing, a personal AIS beacon as well. So you have some safety gear with you. What else did you bring with you into the life raft with what could have been a short time or a long time? I mean, at that point, you didn't know. What did you take with you?
Yes, only food and water. It's on IMOCA's rules. You need 2 grab bags on board. You need one with food and water and one with satellite communications. So Iridium phone, VHF, and everything. And the grab bag with all communication inside my boat was on the bottom. For the center of gravity, you put all the safety, everything you can put down on a monohull, you do it. Yeah. So, but since you've got, how do you say, a lead, you know, when you need to put something to be sure that you're not moving it.
Yes. Yes, you have the little safety wire and you clip it round. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't remember the name in English. We call that in French un plomb. So yes, you've got a safety wire. If you break it, you've got hours of penalty. So since you don't want to break it, you put some tape around it, you put some lashing and everything. And as soon as when I'm done putting my TPS, my survival suit outside, I went back inside with the water, you know, on the waist. And you're trying to cut that under the water, but the water was still going up. And still it was still going up, and my life raft was in the cockpit outside. At one point, I said, well, if you've got communication but no life raft, there is no point. So you have to choose. You know, it's always a choice. So it would have been much easier with satellite phone, with VHF. Even more if VHF than satellite phone, because I had boats quite close around me, and but that's it. I had no time, and I had to choose between the grab bag and the life raft.
Yes, okay, but like you say, the life raft is probably the thing to always reach for. So you get yourself into the life raft. The emergency equipment, the EPIRB, it's been triggered. You know, your message went out to your team, so things are in operation. But you don't know how long this is going to be. How long was it until you then saw someone coming to get you?
Jean, I think it's 3-4 hours after I went in the life raft, just before the night, and he found me thanks to the AIS personnel. One, the EPIRB is definitely not that accurate. I thought it was much more accurate than that. You've got a big circle of that is going worse and worse each time. So it's good for a boat. It's good to, when you're looking for a boat with a plane or something. But when you're looking for something from a boat underwater, AIS is much more accurate. So it found me with this one, but it was 30 knots, more than 5 meters of sea state. Going from a life raft to a boat like that, it was not the right time. And Jean was 2 reefs, so he had to go to 3 reefs, because with 2 reefs, he was completely maybe 35 degrees of heel. It was impossible for him to do anything. And then since he went for 3 reefs, the night started. It was by night, and then. What is complicated, since I had no VHF, I thought that he would have been waiting for the daylight to come back and grab me, and he was still looking for me because he didn't know I was safe on the life raft. So what is very difficult when you do something like that is each people imagine me. I was imagining something, and he was imagining something else. So it's not easy to. So, but after that, I spent something like 3 hours on. At all, I spent 11 hours. So let's say 8 hours in the life raft to wait just before the daylight.
Because I think, I'm sure that Jean Le Cam's story is fascinating as well. He finds you. He has to reef the boat. He loses sight of you. It's darkness. He finds you again. I mean, that's incredible in itself. But for you, it's 3 hours. You now know that there is a boat in the vicinity. So I'm guessing you're a little bit more relieved, and okay, this is good. But what do you do with that time? I've been in a life raft a few times, but only for, safety courses in a swimming pool. And it's not very comfortable then. I mean, what do you do in a life raft for 11 hours?
No, it's definitely not comfortable. It's not the best night. If you're looking for a bed and breakfast or for Airbnb, don't go for that. Or if you want to lose your girlfriend, maybe it's a good one. But no, it's not comfortable. But I to tell the truth, I was quite surprised how the life raft was going, on the waves and everything. I thought it would have been worse than that. And the thing is, since the waves were pretty big, it was starting rolling on the top of the waves, and it was smashing the life raft sometimes with water going inside. Even if it was closed down with a zip, it was not fully watertight. And as soon as you wanted to open it to check outside if you were able to see a boat, you had 50 liters going in the life raft. So I've been pumping a lot all the night long to be sure to have as less as possible water in the life raft in order not to have the body temperature going too much down.
So okay, so you've got a lot on in your life raft, but when you'd seen Jean Le Cam, I'm conscious that there is a point where everyone will think, okay, there is another boat next to the life raft, all is going to be fine. But obviously you have sailed in Imoka, you're an experienced sailor, and you know that Imokas, like all racing boats, are built to go fast. They're not designed to stop. And
yes, exactly.
If you were single-handed in an Imoka and somebody said, park this boat next to the pontoon by yourself, you'd say, this is crazy.
No, it's impossible. It's not done for that at all. But I knew that the wind we had a pressure. If you look, I will try to do that, but the south was there, and the pressure was going to the east. It was a pressure going from south and going northeast. So I knew that if I was stopping, and the idea was to go fast to stay with the pressure. So I knew that since I was stopped, the sea state and the wind was increasing for, let's say, 3-4 hours, and then it was going better and better. So I knew that if I was able to stay in the life raft without any issue for the first 3-4 hours, after that, sea state and wind would have been better. And even if during the night I was not rescued, for the day after it would have been okay. So for me, when I went in the life raft, I say okay. So the night is closed, the sea state and the wind is going better after. So let's say that I will spend all the night plus the day, and that before the end of the day, someone would have rescued me. So in my head, I was there for 24 hours. It's better to in the head. It's better to say, okay, let's go for 24 hours, and it stops after 12 than going for 3, and you're there for 12 hours.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. And then, I like I say, I think Jean Le Cam, his story will be incredible, and the seamanship to take in Imoka. And
the energy. It's an Imoka in 5 meters with 30 knots. As soon as you do attack, as soon as you go upwind, downwind, just to take a reef, it's boats built, designed to go, as you said, fast, and to go fast around the world. It's not a boat to do inshore race. So, and if you've got to do anything alone, it's a lot of work on this kind of boat.
And I don't want to be. I'm not saying this is a negative, but Jean Le Cam as well. I'm trying to think. Is he 51? 51 years? 61. See, there I was thinking 61. I was thinking, no, it can't be 61. This is his 5th Vendée, I know. So it's remarkable. It's really remarkable. It really is. And then he manages to get near you. He manages, and he decides, this is it. We're not going to wait. We're going to go now. Let's do it. He manages to get a rope to you. But of course...
But the first thing, he wanted to come along the boat, to come up and to slide on me. But he missed me from 2-3 meters. That's why he has been able to throw me a line with, now we've got, it's mandatory to have a French fry.
Yeah, life ring. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And he managed to send me that, and I put it around me inside the life raft. But as you said, the boat, it's impossible to stop completely on Imoka, even through reefs in 25 knots. So it was engine on, a throttle full backward, and with the waves, I remember the propeller going out of the water, and with the noise, the noise of the propeller, and the smoke. It was by night with the moon, perfect. It was. We should have done a movie. A pretty nice one for a movie. So that's why I think there is a few things that we will work on for safety in the future, especially for single-handed safety.
So, yeah, we have to sort of mention at this point, we were talking before, and then we got sort of cut off. What happened at your end?
Yes, I was in Les Sables d'Olonne for the finish of the Vendée Globe. And as you may have seen, we had a few low pressures, and I were at my sponsor place, and we had an issue due to the tempest with the Wi-Fi. But that's life.
Yeah, that's life. The weather is definitely making you work pretty hard. The last thing that we were talking about, you just got us to the moment where you'd managed to climb on board. Yes, we can. So you're out of the life raft, you're out of the water, you're out of danger, really. And what I wanted to ask you was, it's worth pointing out at that point that Jean Le Cam had been in 2009 in a similar situation, and of course had been rescued by Team PRB. It's a really nice example of the fact that when you're out on the water, you know, as sailors, as skippers, you're always looking after each other.
Yes, but it's also a fact that is just amazing. 10 years ago, you had Jean Le Cam in trouble without a bulb, capsized at the Cape Horn. It was 2009 exactly, because the start of the race was 2008, and it was in early 2009. And it's just amazing that in 2020 on the Vendée Globe, I'm third. Jean Le Cam is just behind me, and when I break my boat in two, it's the same guy that had been rescued by PRB and Vend&eacute at this in 2009. It's just strange, you know. Sometimes I'm an engineer, so you know, I like straight things, but sometimes it's complicated to explain. I think yes, I agree definitely with you that even during a race, you'll have a boat around you that will come and help you. But what is also strange with this story is to see that it was Jean Le Cam, PRB in 2009, and PRB Jean Le Cam in 2020. Sometimes the story is down now.
Et puis Jean-Jacques, je suis désolé pour le bateau.
Non, c'est que du matériel. Rien de grave, Kevin, rien de grave.
Ouais, mais j'ai pas de regret, quoi. Putain, j'ai renforcé le bateau tout ce que j'ai pu.
Kevin, tout va bien, zen.
Ouais, ouais, mais bon.
And did you get a chance at that point to talk with, you know, friends or family back home? Because of course, you know, with modern technology and everything.
10 minutes after I climbed on Yes We Can, I called my wife, and then we had also the organization of the Vendée Globe. My sponsor Jean-Jacques Laurent was with them, so no, it's very easy. We maybe as you know, we've got very very good satellite connections now, and it's I would not say cheap. It's still expensive compared to what we have on land, but compared to the previous editions, now it's quite cheap. Yes.
Does it make you more hungry to do the Vendée Globe a second time, having not managed to complete one? Does it make you want to do it even more, like unfinished business?
No, I don't think so. I'm not someone like that. I think as soon as I start a race, as soon as I start something, I try at least to be 100%. And in my head, you know, even if I do sport with friends, I will push always to try to win. So it's part of competition. I don't know if it's good or not. It's part of me, I think. And no, what will change, I think, is that I have more trust in me in single-handed. Since it was my first 2 years of single-handed, I think I will go for the next 2024 with more confidence, with more yes. I trust more the way I'm able to race single-handed. Because it was my second race. Vendée Globe was my second race single-handed. I had a few questions to know, for example, if it will be okay about navigation choices, which are not easy. It's more that you're alone. So to do choices alone you don't do them the same way you do choices when you're on a full crew. There is nobody to discuss with. There is nobody to get into the discussion to be able to choose, okay, we go for the GFS file or we go for the CEP file, or so, and that was questions I was wondering before the start. And now I think I've got even if I've been racing only 1 month, 1 month is still a nice race compared to all other ones. Not for Vendée Globe, but compared to all other races, 1 month, it's a good one. So I think I've got more answers, and I will go for the next Vendée Globe, and I will trust myself and push even harder.
And as you were saying before, when we were speaking earlier, with the IMOCA, there's still a lot to do, development with the foils and everything else. What about, are you tempted to take, if you get the chance, an IMOCA and put a fully crewed on there and come and do something like the Ocean Race again as defending, champion, to see what you can get out of a boat like that, fully crewed?
Yes, for sure. The main issue with that is, again, the planning. Sometimes we say that the money is driving our project. The first thing that drives our project is the planning. It's not the money. Even if you've got twice, for sure it helps. But first thing is the planning. If you put the boat 1 year before the race underwater, even if you've got twice the money, you won't have the most reliable boat and the fastest boat. It's impossible. So what is the most important is the planning, and I want to sail single-handed. I know that sailing full crew is the best way to find out which setup are the best one to go fast, and it's also the best way to do performance tests, because when you're single-handed, it's so much time to change the sail, and you never, depending on the weather forecast, depending on the routine you're following and everything, sometimes you don't have the right sail, and to compare everything, it's very difficult. The best way to do it is to go for full crew, and I like that. So definitely, if I've got the chance, and it's not having the chance, if it fits in a planning for single-handed, because again, the main goal today is the Vendée Globe. I have to focus on that. But if I think and if the planning is okay with that, if I think that the best way to win the Vendée Globe is to go through the Ocean Race, I will go, and I will like it, because obviously I like to do it. But and I think it's also a very good way to get a reliable boat, because you're pushing much harder in full crew than in the single-handed. So there is plenty of good reasons to go there. The only thing you have to be careful with is the planning.
I've seen so many of the single-handed sailors going out double-handed, 3 persons, 4 persons, and I think, why? Be practicing solo. But now I understand. Of course, you get the data and it's reliable.
It's to be sure to have reliable data, to be able to compare that on land, and to be sure to do the good choices. Sometimes we go on land, we've got plenty of data, and we say, oh, okay, look, the masthead Gennaker is slower than the fractional one. But is it because the sail is faster, or is it because you were not trimming, or because you had to sleep, so you were 5 degrees more down and not as fast? So, but full crew, you're always pushing 100%. So it's much easier to compare and to do choices about sales and performance.
I've got a couple of questions that some of the viewers sent in, and you've reminded me of one there, because one question was, if you were going to build a team for the Ocean Race, if it fits in with your program, if you managed to get the chance to do it, would you take people who had done the Ocean Race last time, teammates maybe, a lot of experience on the 65s, and put them in the 60, or would you go round the Vendée fleet and pick the best skippers from the 60?
I don't see that like that. I don't see that like that, because I think you've got plenty of good people. For me, it's pretty close to two different sports. I mean, it's sailing, but you've got good people doing full crew, and you've got bad people doing single-handed, and the opposite. No, but the opposite is true as well. Yeah. So I don't see that. Looking forward to take single-handed guys, and looking forward. I've been sailing with people that have done only full crew racing, and I'm pretty sure they would be very good at two-handed or even single-handed. And the opposite, and I've seen very good single-handed sailor that could not be good in full crew. So it's for me, I would go for the best people either if they are coming from single-ended or full crew, or from Vendée Globe, or from the Ocean Race. So no, I definitely don't see that like that. I've got very good friends that were with Charles on Dongfeng from New Zealand, from Australia, and they're very good sailors, and I will definitely call them if I had to do the Ocean Race. And I've got also good friends in France that I will call as well. I think I'll do a mix, and it's very important because the different cultures always come with different things, and since in this kind of race, it's all about details. If you look at the Volvo or the Vendée Globe, the difference of speed between the first and the second, we are not talking about 5%. We are not talking about 10%. We are talking about 1%, 2%, 3% of average speed. I'm talking about. So definitely, you have to go through details.
Okay, so then one last question then from the viewer. On the technicalities of it, in terms of the incident that you had, in terms of the fact that your boat broke in two pieces and fell down, what experiences do you take from that in terms of structurally or anything like that? Is there anything that you would do differently, or was it just one of those things?
I think when you come back from the Ocean Race, I think you're the best sailors in the world. I'm sure of that. When you come back from 9 months, especially on the two last editions with one design boats, you've been sailing for 9 months. You've done import, offshores, practice. You're sailing all the time. You feel the water, you feel the wind, you understand everything, and you come back from that. I think you've understood plenty of things. You have understood also where to be compared to a boat, what to do with the lift, what to do with the header, and it's all these details. And I'm pretty sure one of the reasons I've been fast on the water pretty quickly, it's because I've been sailing on multi-hulls. I've done plenty of things. And after two Volvo, you can take any boats. I don't say that you will be the fastest, but you will be close to the 90 or 100% very fast. You understand what I mean? You feel so well the boat, the wave, the wind, that when you come back from Ocean Race, you're part of the best sailors in the world, I think.
Okay,
I'm not sure it answers.
But it's a very interesting point. I mean, I was wondering whether I know that you were saying it's just really interesting when you talk about the difference between when you sail for 1 month, it's a long time, but a year, 9 months, it's an incredibly long time. But I was wondering about your boat and structurally whether there's anything design-wise with the 60, and I mean, obviously there won't be, you can't do any testing now, but...
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because is there any fatigue? I think that single-ended, you're sailing 2.5 months, but you're not pushing that much than full crew. So maybe in full crew, you'll have maybe a fatigue inside the boat, because you're pushing all the time very hard. That's the thing. I think also that even if it's not the first structural part of the boat, I would design differently how to trim the boat for full crew than for single-ended. Since, as I told you, when you're alone on your boat, you're not trimming all the time. On a Volvo, you're trimming all the time. You always have someone, and especially since we'll have automatic pilots on the next Ocean Race, I think, I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, some discussions.
No, yes, it's a discussion, but I think when you look at the number of guys you'll have on board, it will be quite complicated not to have any automatic pilots, I think. And guys will be trimming all the time instead of being on the helm. Today, automatic pilots are faster than us. So it's a bit sad. Huh? I agree with that. I would rather prefer no. But seriously, I would rather prefer not to have any automatic pilot and continue to drive, because I think it's part of a sailor skills to be able to drive a boat instead of only driving an automatic pilot. But it's a philosophical discussion more than that. And I think they'll be trimming all the time. So the diameter of the sheets, the number of winches and everything must be different for full crew than for single-ended. But for the in my head, a boat shouldn't be different in terms of structure for single-ended or for full crew. At one point, there is no reason why you cannot go at the same top speed single-ended than full crew. There is no point that you could not push. For example, you've got a puff or you've got a squall with the boat even single-ended, and you can go at 35 knots. So it should be. In my head, it's very hard to understand why a boat should not be with the same structure for single-ended or for full crew, except what is a secondary structure. I mean, not for example, the bottom of the hull should be the same, exactly the same. Or it means that you'll be able to ease each time you're single-ended. No. For me, it should be the same.
Yes. Okay. I can follow your logic on that one. One last question then, because you are very busy, and I know you've got
Oh, it's okay. I'm happy to discuss that.
You've got a life to lead. Was there any? It's fascinating to hear you talk now about wanting to do the Vendée Globe. Very passionate to get back out in the water. How much the ocean race has meant to you, and how much you can learn from all these different sailings. Was there ever a point where you, with the experience that you had this time around, having to get into a life raft, was there ever a point where you thought maybe you would stop, take a break, have a vacation, or?
No reason why. I mean, when you've got a car driver having an accident on a Formula One or WRC, is not taking 1 year vacation. I don't see why I should do that. To tell you exactly the truth, when I was on board Jean Le Cam's boat, I wonder, okay, maybe on the first wave, the boat will nosedive and I will cry on the deck. But it has not been like that. And I was very happy to be on the boat. I was thinking to my next boat, so to say, okay, I will do that like that. And as soon as I sail on a new boat, I try to see what is better than the boat I've been sailing better, or a new idea, and to take it and to make it better and for my next boat. It's part of there is two ways to do a new boat. It's to do all brand new everything and to get only new ideas, or to do a mix of both. So you take old boats or boats well, you take that and you don't do the same, because there is no point to do the same. You take it and you do it a bit better, and then you add that all brand new ideas. So I will go for a new boat. I don't know if I'll be able to take a new mold or to use an existent mold, but I'll see. But I'll try to do new things on this boat, and I'm definitely looking forward to sail again. It will be in April. Even if it's not on a monohull, it will be a multi-hull. But no. My life is sailing or designing boats, so I won't stop this year, and neither the year after.
Oh, good man. All right. Well, Kevin, thank you very much. Like I say, I know you're busy, but it's really nice.
Happy to talk with you.
Yeah, it's really nice seeing you in good spirits. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you soon.
A big thank you to Kevin Escoffier for taking the time to talk to me and reliving what must have been some pretty exciting moments at sea, and also giving us an insight as to why he still wants to get back out there on the water. If you enjoyed this interview, you can like and subscribe for more. In the comments, you can let us know what questions I should have asked. And of course, keep your eyes open on our social media channels. We're going to be announcing what guests we've got coming up in this series, and you can let us know the questions that you want answers to. See you next time.